Some truths are more painful than death. A mother leaves behind a mystery, and the answers will destroy everything her children thought they knew. Welcome to Hopkart, Paru. Because this story isn't about finding the truth, it's about surviving it. The story begins in Canada, where we are introduced to Jean and her twin brother Simon. Both of them are devastated because their mother has recently passed away. A final request from their mother is about to uncover secrets neither of them ever imagined existed. At this moment, they are sitting in front of a notary named Lebel, who is also a long-time family friend. Lebel tells Jean and Simon that their mother left several letters with him before she died. Her final wish was that they could not place a headstone on her grave until they completed the tasks written in those letters. He then hands them the letters and explains that their mother wanted them to find their brother and their father. She had left one letter for each of them. What makes this even more shocking is that neither Jean nor Simon knows anything about having a brother. Both of them are stunned. They tell Lebel that their mother never spoke about their father, so where has this brother suddenly come from? Frustrated and overwhelmed by everything he is hearing, Simon gets up and leaves. But Jean makes up her mind. No matter what happens, she is going to fulfill her mother's final wish. Determined to find the truth, Jean decides to follow the trail her mother left behind. Jean tries to convince Simon to help, but he refuses to listen. After that, she returns home and begins searching through her mother's belongings, hoping to find some clue about their father and brother. Every photograph and personal item feels like a piece of a puzzle that has been hidden for years. But she finds nothing useful. The only thing she discovers is a photograph of her mother when she was young. The story then moves into a flashback. We see Jen's mother at a swimming pool. Suddenly, she becomes completely silent. After that day, she never speaks again. Doctors explain that she suffered a severe emotional shock. Not long afterward, Jen's mother dies. No one ever learns what caused that trauma. The mystery surrounding her silence only grows deeper as the story moves further into the past. The story takes us back to a time when Jen's mother, Nawal, lived in an Arab country. There, she falls in love with a young man. She knows her family will never approve of the marriage, so when she tries to run away with him, her brothers spot them. They kill the young man. They want to kill Nawal as well, but her grandmother arrives and saves her. Later, when they are alone, her grandmother tries to talk some sense into her. Nawal reveals that she is pregnant with the young man's child, and that this is why she was trying to escape with him. That single confession changes the course of her entire life. Hearing this, her grandmother becomes deeply worried. After that, her grandmother tells her that she should have an abortion, but Nawal refuses. She says that she wants to give birth to the child because he is the last reminder of the man she loved. Even under enormous pressure, Nawal refuses to let go of the only piece of her less love that remains. Her grandmother finally tells her that after the baby is born, she must move permanently to the city and live with her uncle so she can continue her education. Nawal agrees. Soon afterward, she gives birth to a baby boy. Right after his birth, her grandmother places 3 black dots on his foot and tells Nawal that this will be the mark that identifies her son. Those 3 small marks become the only connection between a mother and the child she is destined to lose. She explains that Nawal will be able to recognize him through those marks, but as promised, she must now leave for the city and focus on building a future for herself. Nawal moves to the city and enrolls at the university. During this time, her grandmother leaves the boy at an orphanage because she cannot keep him at home. The story then returns to the present. We see Jean arriving at that same university where her mother studied many years earlier. She shows people the photograph of her mother's younger years and begins asking questions about her. For the first time, Jean is standing in the very place where her mother's hidden past began to unfold. This happened 35 years ago, so no one recognizes her mother anymore. The receptionist tells Jean that there is a very old employee who might know her. The only lead Jean has left is a man whose memories reach further back than anyone else's self. Jen goes to meet him and shows him the photograph of her mother. He studies the picture and says that he thinks he knows her. She used to work for a newspaper, and the place where the photograph was taken is a prison called Kafariyat. Now Jen finally knows where she needs to go next. A single photograph has suddenly turned into a map leading straight into her mother's hidden past. The story shifts back into the past once again. We see Naval while she is attending college. During this time, a civil war breaks out between Muslims and Christians. The government is facing growing criticism, and racial tensions have spread throughout the region. Because of the conflict, Naval is forced to return home. She wants to find her son. Risking her life and facing countless dangers, she makes her way to the orphanage. No matter how dangerous the journey becomes, finding her son is the only thing that matters to her. This is the same orphanage where her grandmother left her son years earlier. But when Nawal arrives, she learns that the orphanage was shut down many years ago. What she discovers there is far worse than anything she was prepared to hear. She is told that many of the children were killed by militants. The remaining children were taken away by militant leaders so they could be trained as soldiers. After learning a truth, Nawal is completely devastated. She has no idea whether her son is still alive. Even with almost no hope left, she refuses to stop searching for him. for him. She decides to travel to the place where those leaders take the children for training. Before boarding a bus, she removes the pendant from around her neck because the bus is filled with Muslim refugees. She goes, Moses, no law. Eventually, she falls asleep. When she wakes up, she sees armed masked men surrounding the bus. They are Christian nationalists. Without warning, they begin firing into the bus, killing nearly all of the passengers. Nawal, another woman, and the woman's daughter are the only 3 survivors. In a matter of moments, an ordinary journey turns into a nightmare of unimaginable violence. The 3 of them remain hidden inside the bus. Then a man climbs onto the vehicle, intending to set it on fire. As danger closes in from every direction, survival comes down to a single desperate decision. Nawal realizes what is happening and steps outside. She tells them that she is also a Christian. She shows them her pendant. The woman traveling with her pulls her daughter close and claims that the girl is her child. Because of that, the attackers spare the girl, but they kill her mother and then set the bus on fire. What happens next becomes one of the most heartbreaking moments Nawal will ever witness. When the little girl sees the bus burning, she runs toward it, trying to save her mother. The attackers kill her too. Nawal watches the entire scene unfold with her own eyes. After witnessing such brutality, she completely loses faith in humanity. The story returns to the present. We see John arriving in her mother's village. The people there speak only Arabic and do not understand English, so she's unable to communicate with them. However, there is one young woman who speaks both Arabic and English. Through her, everyone learns that John is Nawal's daughter. The villagers immediately tell her that if she is Nawal's daughter, she should never have come back here. The reaction of the villagers makes it clear that Nawal's past is still feared, even after all these years. John says that she is looking for her father. The villagers tell her that they do not know anything about him. With no answers left to find there, she is forced to leave. Every path seems to end in silence, but the truth is still waiting somewhere ahead. The story then shifts back into a flashback. We see Nawal after the bus massacre. She is completely broken by everything she witnessed. She decides that she is going to take revenge on the Christian activist leader who ordered the attack and was responsible for all those deaths. To do that, she joins a Muslim militant group. She eventually starts working as a tutor in the home of that same Christian leader. Before long, everyone there begins to trust her. Years of pain and loss lead her toward a single moment she has been waiting for. Then one day, while the leader is sitting outside, Nawal walks up to him and shoots him. Afterwards, she is sent to Kafari prison. This is the same prison where the photograph was taken, the same photograph that is now in Jen's possession. The story returns to the present. Jen eventually reaches the prison as well. She shows her mother's photograph and tries to ask questions about her. The first employee she meets does not recognize Nawal, but then she speaks with another man who worked at the prison for many years. He looks at the photograph and immediately says that he knows exactly who she is. For the first time, Jen finds someone who can finally tell her what happened inside those prison walls. The man explains that Nawal was brought to this prison many years ago. He remembers her clearly because she was always singing. Even after everything she endured, Nawal refused to let her spirit be completely destroyed. He says that he has never seen a stronger woman in his entire life. To break her, a man named Abu Tariq repeatedly assaulted her. As a result, Nawal became pregnant. Even though she did not want to have those children, she eventually gave birth to twins. A horrifying truth is beginning to emerge, and every answer only creates more pain. The man also gives Jen the address of the nurse who delivered the babies. Jen immediately calls Simon and asks him to come there. When he arrives, she tells him everything she has learned about their mother's past. Together, they go to meet the nurse. The nurse tells them that she delivered their mother's babies. She can hardly believe that the twins are now standing in front of her. Then, she reveals another shocking truth. Their father's name is Abu Tariq. The news leaves both Jan and Simon in profound shock because they learn that he was a terrible man. But now, a much bigger question remains unanswered. Who is their brother? Because of that, they begin investigating his identity. They discover that when he arrived at the orphanage, he was given the name Nihad. The mystery of their brother becomes the final missing piece of a tragic family story. They learn that Nihad was later taken away by a militant group and trained as a soldier. After that point, his trail seems to disappear completely into the chaos of war. No one knows what happened to him afterward. Jen and Simon also continue searching for information about Abu Tariq. They are told that men like him often change their names or flee to other countries. Because of that, no information about Abu Tariq can be found. This is the same man who is their biological father, the man who assaulted their mother. Every lead they follow seems to vanish before they can reach the truth. Even so, they are determined to find their brother no matter what it takes. They search relentlessly, but they still cannot discover anything about him. In the present day, 2 men approach Simon and tell him to come with them. He agrees and follows them. What Simon is about to learn will completely change everything he believes about his family. His eyes are blindfolded. When he arrives, he discovers that he is standing before the same leader of the Muslim group who helped send his mother to Canada years earlier. The man asks him who he is looking for. Simon replies that he is searching for Abu Tariq, the man who assaulted his mother, and for his brother, Nihad. The leader then reveals that they were the ones who took Nihad. He says that Nihad spent years searching for his mother. The truth begins unfolding piece by piece, and each revelation is more devastating than the last. When Nihad could not find any information about her. It had a profound effect on his mind. He became an exceptionally skilled fighter. Later, he was assigned work inside a prison where he tortured prisoners. During that time, his name was changed to Abu Tariq. Hearing this leaves Simon completely stunned. The ground seems to disappear beneath his feet. He suddenly realizes that his brother and his father are the same person. At the time Nawal was brought to prison, the entire country was trapped in a civil war. Nearly everyone was fighting against the government. In a nation consumed by conflict, a horrifying family tragedy was unfolding in the shadows. Many of those fighting wanted to overthrow the government, but none of them wanted their identities exposed. They were among the people involved in the civil war. The final pieces of the mystery have now fallen into place, and the truth is almost unbearable. Simon now knows the entire story, and he tells Jen everything. Both of them are completely devastated. The story then shifts back into a flashback. One day, while Nawal is swimming in a pool, she notices a man's foot marked with 3 black dots. Immediately, she realizes that this is her son. A tiny detail that seemed insignificant for years suddenly reveals the truth she spent her life searching for. But when she looks at his face, she discovers that he is Abu Tariq. The realization destroys her emotionally. She understands that her son is also the father of her twins. The shock is so overwhelming that it leaves a deep psychological wound, and eventually it leads to her silence and later her death. Jen and Simon now understand the unimaginable suffering their mother endured. They return to Canada, where Abu Tariq is living. They visit him and hand over the 2 letters their mother left behind. Abu Tariq takes the letters inside. One of them is addressed to father. He opens that letter and begins to read. For the first time, he is forced to confront the consequences of everything that happened. The letter says, "You may not know me by my name. You may only remember me as number 72, because that was my prison number." The words are simple, but every sentence carries the weight of an entire lifetime of pain. "You befriended me. Because of what happened between us, I became pregnant and gave birth to twins. The children who delivered this letter to you are your children." After reading the letter, he walks outside, but Jen and Simon have already left. He then picks up the second letter, the one addressed to son. What follows is not anger or blame, but the final expression of a mother's love. The letter says, "At this moment, I am speaking to my son, the son I have always loved. I spent my entire life searching for you. You are the last reminder of the man I loved. I recognized you by the 3 marks on your foot. I have no complaints against you. I still love you very much. Your mother, Nawal." After reading the letter, Abu Tariq goes to Nawal's grave, where a headstone has finally been placed. Nothing remains in his life except regret. This becomes a moment he can never erase from his memory, and a burden he can never truly escape. Some people survive the worst things imaginable, but a part of them never truly comes back. The scars nobody sees are often the ones that hurt the longest. If stories like this stay with you long after they're over, stay close to Hopkart, Paru, because sometimes the darker stories aren't about death, they're about living with what happened afterwards.